Hello, welcome back to One's the Force of Stars podcast. My name's Phil, of course, and you're joined as per usual by Dave and, in fact, George now for our weekly Resistance breakdown. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello there.
Good evening. Our third elusive member has finally joined us for one of these Resistance reviews.
What? Now,
so come on, you want to give us your opinion. You kind of we've Dave and I have kind of been carrying the show here, kind of talking about Resistance. We know we've said that you weren't interested or not really into it from the off. You're now caught up. Here you are. Give us your little rundown.
now I'm gonna be fair and say off the immediate go, I'm not the target market.
Mm-hmm.
I respect that going in. I understand that. I acknowledge that. That's why I don't care, wrong word, but I completely understand as to why it doesn't work for me, why I don't gravitate towards it. I've said before on the channel, the animation style, I never liked too much. The kind of anime stuff is not personally. I've never been into anime much, so cartoons are very hit or miss with me. I think I either love something or I don't really like it at all. Obviously, love like Rebels, Clone Wars, their Star Wars stuff. Obviously, other things like South Park and whatnot. Resistance. I watched episode 1, I think about a year ago when it aired, and I didn't finish episode 1. Tried again a couple of months later, didn't finish it. Tried again a couple of months ago. I think it was just after Celebration when I got back, because everyone that I stayed with was like, "Oh no, Resistance is really good. You got to let it get to the end. Got to let it get to the end." I was like, Rebels got very good halfway through series 1. Can I really do this? No, I could try it again. No, I couldn't. Last week, obviously, Star Wars tickets went on sale. Episode 9 trailer came out. I'm in a very good mood. I'd like to see what's occurring between episodes 8 and 9, because this is, in theory, right now, the first bit of canon, I believe, set after episode 8.
It is, yeah.
And I just made myself put it on in the background at work the entire day. And no joke, when I say I watched, I think, 5 episodes on the Tuesday. Yeah. Sorry, on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I messaged you yo, I've just finished season 1.
Pretty much, yeah.
Phil was like, so what did you think? And I was wow, no expletives on this show, my friend. I'm not the target market. I'm going to leave it at that. It's not personally for me. I was really looking forward to the First Order stuff because I'd seen spoilers. I knew that Hux's speech was in it. I knew his parents had died. I was like, yes, that's my kind of TV. Let's get the drama going. And it was the last 5 minutes of series 1. And then you get to series 2 and her plot twist, the dad's alive the entire time. Wow. I think I laughed in this. I watched all of series 2 today so far as well. So I've seen 4. I don't know what episodes work except this one we're talking about tonight because I've made myself learn. It doesn't work. I mean, yeah, I'm just not. I'm giving it a go. I've given it 22 episodes now, I want to say.
Yeah.
I will finish it. I believe Kylo Ren is apparently going to be in this. I don't think they can afford Adam Driver. But I want to see where this goes. And obviously, there's rumors it's in episode 9 in the background. I don't really know the ships well enough yet, but I think someone saw it in the trailer.
It has the Colossus is apparently in the big shot of all the ships. The Colossus is also in the background.
Apparently, it's hiding there, yeah.
So I've caught up to it, and I'm here to talk about it. And you know me, I try and be positive. I don't go in for the kill on the spot. I know I can, and I have, and I should. But I'm going to be a bit more lenient.
Overall, I was going to say I think our podcast overall is a very positive place for Star Wars, even if it's something we don't enjoy. Certainly when I've done this with Phil as well, I haven't been as into it as Phil has. So we have got that opposing view, which I think actually helps a lot of it, that we don't just go in and go, this is great. It's nice to have that opposing opinion where it's this is okay, and I don't really like this. And I think, really, to be honest, this episode we're going to talk about will probably be a pretty short episode. Are we looking at that right, Phil?
Yeah, agreed. I mean, not everything opinion for all of us here is bright and shiny. We all have our different opinions. Some things I don't particularly like that Dave likes and George likes. Some things we all have our own different opinions. But that's what I love about the show, is the different dynamics. This episode, though, Hunt On Celsor 3, is a very similar opinion across the board. In fact, even the message after Dave watched it, he put in the message saying, "Phil, I hope you like this one because I don't think much of it." George, of course, has watched it and gone, "Yeah, not a huge fan of it." And of course, I finished just before we came on air, just because of my own life getting in the way, and it's rather dull. I mean, we'll talk about it in depth. We all kind of we have a similar opinion across the board. Dave, again, hits on it. The first third's a lot better than the second and the third. Who wishes to break this one down? I break it down every week.
Me.
Do I have to break it down this week?
You said the word dull. I'm going to do you 2.5 longer and say diabolical.
Ooh.
I did take some things out the first third of the story.
Yeah. So who's going to walk us through the entire episode? Do I have to walk it through?
I can't do that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
if you want to talk through, because I wasn't prepared for that and did not write it down.
Well, we gotta talk through it. As everyone knows, we walk us through the episode before we break it down. Because there's always key plot points to talk about. I don't like to miss much as we're going through it. Start of the episode. That's the wrong picture. Luckily, actually, I didn't have the start of the episode. That's fine.
Yeah,
so
unfortunately, some of the images that were available, I know we pull these from StarWars.com,
Yeah.
won't hide that.
We do, yeah.
But a lot of their images they've set for only web viewing, so although I have them, they will not upload onto our server, so there are just some here.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, my bad on that one. So, start over. The start of the episode, everyone's on board the Colossus. It's in Aunt Z's cantina, and they're going through, and everyone's kind of a bit complaining because there's nothing really to eat, nothing really to drink. The supplies are running low, and Captain knows that it's okay, we'll have to start rationing. And Aunt Z pipes off and goes, well, ration what? And it transpires that they are out of everything. Kraken has a little funny idea. So, what about the Jakkusk that you saw down on the planet on Celsor 3? So, of course, now we know they have the name of the beast that was troubling them last week. And so, well, if you can bring it in, then you can eat for free. If not, basically, we're all going to lose. We're just going to leave. We're done. We're out of here. And Dozer has to face the reality that he's failed as a captain. Tora and Kaz go up to the deck, go up to talk to Dozer, and say, we will help, we will try and bring this Jakkusk back, because we can't trust the pirates to do it by themselves. The pirates then go down to the surface of the planet, followed by the Fireball, and I can't remember the name of Tora's ship, but Tora and Kaz, a couple of them down with there, just to keep patience to see what's going to happen. Kragan and the pirates descend onto the planet, and eventually, by dropping a few bombs, I can't remember the name of the pirates themselves, my apologies here, they managed to drag the Jakkusk out of hiding. Of course, this giant flying space manta ray that does look kind of cool from underneath, but above kind of looks kind of boring. They then quickly discover that they are not going to be able to bring it down. It is a horrible, tough beast. Kaz and Tora try to warn them and say, you cannot hit it from above. You have to hit it from its weak spot underneath. Of course, the pirates, thinking they know better, don't agree. Kragan then has to face reality that he has to retreat. When they get back on board the Colossus, they go to the cantina. Aunt Z says, well, where's my Jakkusk? And Kragan blames it on Kaz and Tora that they weren't able to bring it down. You then go, unfortunately, this is where it then starts to kind of break down a little bit for us. You then have Kaz and Tora go and talk to the captain, go to Tora's bunk, and start to talk about what happened, what they could do better, and, what are they going to do? And, of course, when they walk through the door, Buggles, this creature, I don't even know the name of it, is there. And they have a little chat about how they could try and bring it down. Kaz remembers that Tam, before she left to work on, before she left for the First Order, was working on a cannon for the Fireball. It does need an external power source, a battery, but they can indeed use it. So, of course, they go, okay, we'll take this cannon down to the surface and try and shoot it from underneath. However, on the way down, Kaz discovers that Buggles has stored away aboard the Fireball. He is not best pleased, and of course, at this point, a hilarity ensues by the Fireball being out of control and flying very poorly until they land. They land, and of course, Tora then discovers that Buggles is in the ship before the little creature runs away. And, that's a little later. I thought we had something before that. Fair enough. And of course, at that point, they go, okay, we've still got to try and bring down this giant creature. Long story short, they get the cannon up and running. The creature knocks the battery over. Buggles is precariously perched on top of a mountain. Somehow got up there. I have no idea how. Kaz just about manages to get the weapon up and running. At this point, the Fireball and Tora ship have been stolen by two of the pirates who managed to survive. But then, of course, Kaz manages to shoot the creature just about by using CB-23 as a battery, and by some miracle, one-shots it and brings it down without knocking Buggles off this mountain. They are then able to bring the Jakkusk back aboard the Colossus, where everyone can have a lovely meal, and everyone's happy. And Dozer Oh yeah, and Dozer's able to go, I'm sorry, from this moment onwards, I will be able to accept the fact that I'm your captain and your safety is my responsibility. And it turns out Niku has been working a nice little surprise for everyone when he reveals a nice shiny sky above everyone, and everybody was happy.
Except the viewers.
Now, I'm going to put this out there before we start. The second and third act of this episode is very clearly aimed at the kids with Buggles. That is the younger end of the audience scale. It's very clearly aimed at them. I understand that. However, my God, this was a dull episode.
Do kids? I mean, I don't want to sound like an old person, but
yeah,
if you sit 4 or 5-year-old down, do they like that episode of TV?
Well, Dave, can you answer this question for us?
I have a 4-year-old son, and to be totally honest, before I came in here, we were watching Empire Strikes Back again. We watched it for the first time last night. We watched it again today because he has great taste.
Right.
But I think, you know what? I think as a child, yes, I think it would appeal more, the story, especially the second half. Look, we are grown men, and this is a cartoon made for children. We are fully aware of that being the case. It's just that the start of this episode, we'll jump back. The first third, I actually enjoyed the whole, we're out of everything. There is nothing left. We need to do something. And everyone's starting to try and leave the Colossus to move on, to find somewhere they could actually survive, even though they know the threat of the First Order outside. And I love the mission that the first of the pirates, when they went down to Celsor 3 to try and retrieve the creature, and the mission failed. I still really enjoyed that, and I'd hope the rest of the episode might be what they would then try and do in order to, so what they would put it like, maybe they would put the Colossus at risk, put other people at risk, but no, it's just like, oh, well, we didn't do it, so we're not going to. And that's when the episode kind of fell apart for me. I didn't enjoy the second and third. Once we got into the lost pet story, that it was over for me. I mean, last week on the show, I think I said I didn't enjoy the creature side of last week's episode. To be still on this planet, I thought we might have moved somewhere else, but to still be here and still looking after the same creature, it just felt like a really drawn out, what should have been maybe one episode last week. I mean, there are elements to this I really enjoyed, mostly visual, but not in the actual story itself. It's parts of what they've done design-wise that I liked about this episode. The first third I really liked, fell away once they started the mission with the lost pet running away.
It's hard to, I don't know if this was discussed last week, but again, I know it's for kids. This isn't really kids, and this is a design issue that it's a giant stingray.
Yeah.
It's really hard to grasp that concept. It's a giant stingray. You show it to a kid. Like, do they know what stingrays are? I don't know. If Star Wars can teach them what a stingray is, maybe. You know, it was hard to take it into the thing I love about Star Wars is how different it is. Like, you're not on Earth. It's a giant stingray, and you can't see past it. Oh, we need to cook it and eat it. Yeah, I know people eat stingrays. Watch out! It's got a defense mechanism. Yes, Steve Irwin found out about that. It's one of their.
I think that's still too soon.
It was in my head. Like, I'm not going to make that reference.
It's hard to get behind them. The problem is, although I haven't said much, but you can get my vibe from the distance. The really good stuff about season 2 has been all the First Order stuff. Character I very much not like is now one of the most interesting characters. I apologize, I've watched 3 episodes in a row. Was the flying pilot drone on this one or not? It wasn't, was it? I've watched them all back to back. So I forgot her name. The girl.
Tam.
The drone that was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I get this felt like one of them episodes where not that you don't need the villains, like maybe they're going to use them sparingly, but there's a broader story happening, and you're absolutely spot on. The mutiny part is very interesting. You got a little bit of that in Last Jedi with the whole petrol, Poe Dameron, all that kind of thing. Yeah, it's not that it's more mature, but that's an interesting dynamic, a very realistic dynamic too. But it's hard to take an episode like this when you've got no segue into anything else of the overarching story. Now, I know you don't need the overarching story.
Okay.
Thrawn was used so little and so well in season 3 of Rebels. But with this, there's a genuine, very good story happening. And it's going to take you out of it when you're waiting for the next one. When you have these not cliffhanger endings, but you have this first order sort of.
The problem is they have to be careful. When I don't mean timeline wise, I mean actual literal release date wise, because of episode 9's upcoming release. They can't give too much of what's happening away before it comes out, and that leaves an issue with the show where they can't give too much of the main arc away, so they have to do these subplots. And completely agree. I mean, you went on our show last week when we were talking about the episodes. Dave loved the First Order parts, didn't as much enjoy the Resistance parts, where I loved the comparison between the juxtaposition between the two different training methods, however they were happening on a parallel, and I loved comparing the two of them. I thought that was really good. Agreed, this could have been part of that episode in a way, and it felt dragged out. And for me, I liked the peril. I liked the fact that they lost the first time round as well, and they had to go back and try again. I thought that was all very well done. What I didn't like was the dog, whatever the creature is. I don't know off the top of my head, and I apologize. Whatever that creature is, being brought along and being used as comic relief when comic relief was not needed. They had enough peril. They had enough of a real challenge on their hands. They could have been gone back for the pirates. They could have had that in there as a case of help. We need to save these people and try and get this beast. That's enough there in itself. You didn't need to add a dynamic of a dog running away, which then you find out wasn't in very real danger because it's still on the top of the mountain when the creature gets shot, even though the creature's like that. It's like
about to eat it, yeah.
I mean, I know the dog has to survive for the kids' side of it. I understand that. I'm not trying to take away from what needs to be there for the younger audience, but it does detract from the story, and I didn't like that.
I mean, we know the target market. It's a hard one because it's not hard to invest. What you mentioned about episode 9, I didn't personally. I think season 2 Resistance I don't think it's going to finish anywhere near episode 9. Episode 9 is like a year after episode 8, and we're like still days. We're probably still in the timeline of episode 8 at this point. Days after.
I would think Crate's still going on right now, or just finishing.
I'm sure we'll be notified when there's a new Supreme Leader. I'm sure we know that's in a trailer, but Resistance is a very intriguing show because obviously it's got Dave Filoni. I know this is kind of me not talking about this episode. This is as a whole, but we understand it's the lower budget one. We know they put their money into Clone Wars. We know they put a lot of money into Rebels as well. This was kind of the third child. This is going to be there's only going to be 2 seasons of this show. Presuming it will finish again, maybe with the start of episode 9, maybe with something with not Galaxy's Edge, but what I mean, like it could tie into that. There's so much
doubt.
Yeah.
But I struggle to be invested into follow weekly. Rebels, it had me on the edge of my seat every week. It was you want to watch the show weekly. Resistance was I put a whole day of work. I mean, I say for a start, I'm not watching it. Well, I know I am, but while I'm working, not Rebels. To the point where I had a morning off work and I found a live stream to stream Obi-Wan Kenobi versus Darth Maul. Yeah, Resistance ain't going to get like that. And I completely get it. It's not the concept of the show. It's not the idea of the show. But it makes it a lot harder to
invest.
Yeah, and I don't put on. In all honesty, I only like maybe one character in the entire show, and that's hard to. It's hard to force yourself to watch something. And again, I'm not the target market.
Although that's of interest, which is their character.
I've forgotten his name. The one that's the now squad leader.
Yiga.
Dreadlock guy, yeah.
Yes, yeah, Yiga, yeah.
Yeah, him. He's the best character by him.
See, my favorite character so far is Tam because I love her dynamic between the First Order and the Resistance. I like the conflict there.
I'd like some more in season 2. Season 1, I could not stand her, but I guess the point of that was to build her up into being betrayed by them.
Yeah.
She's certainly got the most interesting story right now. And also, I cannot get over the fact that the guy that owns the ship sounds exactly like Mads Mikkelsen.
He does have that a bit of that about him, actually. Yeah,
does have a little bit
so
of that
hard to sit there listening and not think like Caitlin. So is here? It's him. It's not him. It looks like an Italian, but it's Mads Mikkelsen's voice. And I know I'm being too harsh on the show, and I know I'm not the target market. That is fine, but it's
you're not being too harsh. You're giving it actually a very fair
I've given it 20 episodes. There's more than fair.
You have. You've given it a fair view. It's what I said in the chat. It's like you've given it a very fair viewing. You've watched everything as an opinion. It's not a harsh, I hate this. It's a, there are some things I like. There's a lot I don't like, but at least you've given it a fair shot. It's not, I hate it because it's not made for me. And that's the problem with a lot of Star Wars fans.
People, not to talk about Last Jedi and, the last 5 years and Disney and this, Disney, that. I know I'm not the target market. In theory, I wasn't the target market for Rebels, but I enjoyed it and I had so much fun with it. Clone Wars.
Oh, we all love Rebels.
Star Wars is kids, man. Prequels. I'm not the target market. I was when it came out because I was 3 years old. But Star Wars is a kids show. The Freddie Prinze Jr. rant. It is a kids show.
Best rant ever.
Yeah, and Resistance. I get it. Like the thing is, the casting likable. They're probably mates. They they get to work on Star Wars. There's a big social media presence of the lead actor. I even saw merchandise of Phill and London yesterday. I've not seen it in the flesh in any shop in this country except for Phill and London. Granted, there was 2 things, but it's it's still canon, and it just makes it more interesting if it does connect to 9, or what they choose to do with the First Order in this story. I'm invested in that to a degree, and I will carry on watching.
We know the best is yet to come. That's the thing with season 2. We know the best is yet to come.
Hope.
Rebellions are built on hope.
No, you got to be for me. I mean, look, we didn't. Yeah, this is going to be a short episode this week, guys. We didn't kind of enjoy this episode. Phil and I, Phil didn't see the best in the second half of this episode. Certainly, we liked how it was building. I mean, what I will talk about, if that's okay, some of the aesthetics that I did love about the show. And we can show that actually in a couple of the images that we do have. One is this one here, the 2 jackets. I don't know if you've watched Bucket's List on StarWars.com yet.
Yes, I've gone through it, and in fact, they are based on the Hoth ones,
Yeah, so the one that Kaz is wearing is actually based on the crew jacket for Empire Strikes Back.
Yep.
So that's based on that. And obviously the other jacket that
Tora is based on
Tora's wearing is based on Leia's Hoth jacket. But the best thing for me in the entirety of this episode, and this is the thing that made me really happy, and it was literally one thing, and it's the cannon. So I'm just going to bring up, we're trying to get the best picture of it, which is probably from our thumbnail here, of Kaz using the cannon there. Now, the best thing about this cannon, that is literally a Kenner tri-cannon that was released here. I've got an actual image of it just to bring it up there. That is what that is. That's based on that toy. And to see it made my little heart joyful. I loved seeing something from that. They're using these things from Kenner. I know they used different things. They're starting to bring in, like the tanks and things they're using in a lot of in the shows. They're starting to bring in a lot of the toys. Yeah. That the designs of, I know they did in Rebels. They used the transport, the troop transport.
One thing I love about this era, the Disney era, Lucas said, look, do what you want with your IP, do what you want with the license. If you want to create stuff, that's fine. However, it's not canon. What we've done as the films are, that is canon. What Disney have done is gone, this is what's canon. However, we like some of the stuff you've done, so we're going to make it canon. We're going to go back in it. Thrawn, you guys love Thrawn. Great, we're going to bring him into the canon. TIE Defender, great, we're going to bring that into the canon. They're picking and choosing bits that they like and bring it in, and they're going back through it. I mean, we talked about this in our episode 9 trailer breakdown. That throne we see, of course, is from the concept art for Return of the Jedi. Yeah, it's brilliant. They're going back and they're looking at it going, what have we got? What's all our resources? And let's just pull from it. Let's just bring to light what could have been. And it's fantastic.
That is my main take from, literally, I'm really sorry it is, but it's my main take from today's episode, is that we get this look back at a classic toy that's now being brought into canon, literally, as a canon. So we used to say canon a lot, but I'm really happy that it's there. The aesthetic of that and seeing it, the art design on it was a really nice move. It even came with, like they say, the power box. I liked it even when you plugged it into the BB-8 unit to get the actual battery power it needed. Yeah, so even that made me kind of a little bit smiley. But seeing the cannon and seeing the 2 jackets, that was me. And I really like as well, they're on this snowy planet, and I think, although the animation style, yes, is not to everyone's pleasing, I thought they pulled off that outside in Hoth look. As I've watched Empire sort of twice the last 2 days, that very misty, snowy look. I thought they pulled that off really well for the level of animation that we have in the show.
I think this was certainly one of the. I mean, when so much of the shows focus on like air, clouds, not criticism, space, going on land is something that's done very few and far between. And it was, I think, the right choice of planet. It was cool to see, like what you mentioned, the Hoth costumes, the cannon. There was some serious throwbacks to that, and again, that comes down to you can tell that's like a Dave Blaney thing. That it's the not to criticize anyone else to Lucasfilm, but it's like, you know, he probably like, oh, what about the canon from Hoth? Like you can see, you know, not to talk about Mandalorian, but Boba Fett's rifle is the Mandalorian's rifle now from the holiday session. He knows the canon. He knows what he's playing, and he chooses to.
The ice cream maker is going to be the Mandalorian. That just makes me happy.
Yes, it is.
There is a Mandalorian trailer coming tonight, which no one knew about.
There is indeed.
There is. I mean, we'll to be honest, yeah. I mean, before we even just talk about what's coming out, I don't know if anybody else got anything else to say about this episode.
Well, I like the fact. Well, I was gonna say I like the bird that crashes into the sky at the end. I was like, oh, it's actually on the buckets list. It's called a Speagull. I'm like, are you kidding me? You've taken the word seagull and added a P. Are you that lazy? You can come up with a new name, call it a Speagull. Wow.
I don't really have like a neutral thing to say. I'm just ready for the next one and to hope it in another place, because I think there's real potential with some of the storylines they've put into season 2 so far.
We do have episode 5 next week, which is titled The Engineer. I don't know any more than that at this moment in time, but when it comes out, we will be certainly on next week again to talk about that.
That's going to have Matt the radar technician's.
Cool.
Even I knew this, 100% Resistance. So if anyone's seen the SNL, one of the greatest sketches of all time is Adam Driver's undercover star killer base.
As Matt the radar technician.
In the trailer and stills, they've released photos of the characters wearing Matt the radar technician's clothes, making it canon. It's all true.
That's awesome. But I mean, this episode, the first third was fine, but the second 2/3 of the episode just didn't work for me. But you know what? That's fine. We've wasted 22 minutes. We shall move on to next week. As George mentioned, we do have things coming. Surprising today that we got a shed load of new Mandalorian posters, some character posters. We haven't got them here, but because we'll talk about them when we actually look at the trailer. And we have a new trailer that is apparently dropping tonight. Now, it's not been advertised as with Monday Night Football. I've looked all over to try and find sort of a time slot when it would drop. It makes sense that it would probably be with the Monday Night Football game. But
considering there's ESPN, it's going to be. They also got ESPN Plus, and this is the Disney Plus show. So
it would make sense. I'm just excited to see more content from it. The problem with TV is there's less to give away. As like trailer 1 really was the trailer we had at Celebration. So I am hoping that
this will be more.
Yeah, I think they have a bit more story, and we've had merchandise out, so they can probably show some more characters and whatnot.
Yeah.
What is can we talk about that Outlander tie that looks wicked?
Yeah, there's a TIE fighter with sort of a crossed wing. That came out.
We've got
a t-shirt
first of TIE bomber coming in this, and we've in Resistance, and we've got a new TIE fighter coming in the Mandalorian. As an X-wing player, I'm just frothing. That's going to give me all of this. I just want more of it.
So yeah, we've got some good things coming. Now we will be covering the Mandalorian trailer. Now we normally have a show every other Wednesday. Yep. We're not sure when we will be doing the trailer. We might be, as it comes out tonight, it might be Wednesday if we can all make it and look at that as well.
I won't be able to, so probably just be these two, unfortunately.
Cool. Well, me and George, if that's the way it happens, George and I should be there to break down the trailer and have a good look at that, see what's...
We'll talk about it behind the scenes. We'll get something done. If it's tonight, it's tonight. If it's tomorrow, it's tomorrow. If it's Wednesday, it's Wednesday. At some point, we will be breaking down this new trailer. We will be talking about it. We go up our Facebook page and our Instagram page and all the rest of it. We'll spam it as per usual because we love it. Very much looking forward to that. Very much looking forward to seeing the show, seeing everything that's going to come up. And as I said, jumping back to Resistance before we end the show, I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. Of course, we've got the Engineer next week. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the First Order, more what's going to happen, and where the storyline is going to go, where the Colossus will end up, if it does actually end up being, if they receive Princess Leia's message. And if they end up going to meet up with Lando and the rest of them, that would be a great ending. I'm just excited to see where it'll go. It's just unfortunate that this is the episode that George is able to join us for, because it's an episode we all don't like. It's like, wow, George finally comes up. Yes, get to talk about Resistance with him. Sorry, George, this isn't the best episode to talk about.
Well, fingers crossed we've got many more. I'm not going to lie, there wasn't many as a whole that there would have been good to talk about, to be fair. But, I'm intrigued. I'm excited. I'm excited when Kylo Ren does cameo, and when it does deep further into the not the current canon, but into that main story of canon, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
But no, fingers crossed for future episodes.
Indeed. So I think that's about everything we've got for tonight's show. So as per usual, saying thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The audio for this will be available later. You can find us as per usual on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages at One's the Force, Star Wars Podcast, at the Force Podcast, again on Instagram as well. The audio, as I said, will be available later on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, and iTunes. You can find the video for this later on YouTube. Of course, we've been One's the Force. May the Force be with you. Good night.